most beneficial in this war? Let's interview the husband here. Julian, what's your intake about what's happening today?
Well, I'll give you something from Gilad Atzmon. Today's images of the success of the Iranian missiles raid and the way in which it hit Israel's most sensitive military targets without killing a single civilian proves beyond any shred of doubt the Iranian Revolution Guard, as for today, is the most moral army in the world. Yet the IDF that ridiculously claims that title has dropped last week 83 tons of guided bombs on a residential block, killing 500 innocent civilians just to kill one Nasrallah.
Sorry. Who is saying they are the most moral army?
So the IDF have always claimed to be the
They
most moral
claimed.
army in the world. Gilad Atzmon is saying surely the Iranians could be argued to be that if they haven't killed a civilian in their attack. The IDF is by far, by biblical standards, the ultimate. But it isn't alone.
Have you seen so many footage has been released by the IDF themselves recording each other, cheering up every time they're bombing. So they know it's gonna happen. They know it's civilians. They know there are flats and buildings where civilians are living, and they're doing it with joy. Like they. It's like a computer game. Like we don't care. Hey, laughing and your hand up in the live. If people are already witnessing this, no, my sitting room. If people are already witnessing this and seeing it, like, what are we waiting for? Like, how can they still claim to be a moral army? Sorry, we're just setting up another camera. If you're not in TikTok and you are on YouTube, you can join us as well. We are on 2 lives right now. We are live on YouTube, Sarah Dardasha, and we are live on TikTok as well. And we're discussing, do you think the Iranian are hitting effective targets, or are they just, or is it a planned, is it a game, is it, like we have to take revenge, so we're just gonna do it regardless, and we've agreed that we're going to bomb some areas, but we're not going to cause any death or any casualties?
Where are you getting this from? This
telling you.
sounds like
I'm telling you.
the nonsense that
Yeah,
some
it's
people
nonsense.
come out with.
I'm telling you.
Because they're embarrassed that their own people haven't done
100%,
anything.
100%. I am telling you 2 sides of the story. One side are saying this, the other side are saying no. The Iranian are doing exactly what needs to be doing. They're not causing massive deaths. They are. What they've done has been really powerful and effective, and they've showed the world that all the claims that Israel have in terms of no one can hit us, and we have this. It's called the Qibba, I think. The one that.
The Iron Dome.
Yeah, the Iron Dome. Yeah, that it's not really effective as they claim that it is. So, what's next? What's gonna happen next? What's the escalation that might happen after the Iranian strikes? We know a day after Israel have hit south of Lebanon and Gaza heavily. Today I've heard or I've read 99 people were killed, if I'm not wrong. What's the latest?
On the one hand, we see the footage of the Iranian Elegance hitting the most secure Israeli targets with 0 civilian casualties. This is Gilad Atzmon again. On the other hand, we see the barbarian Israelis killing civilians left, right and centre, dropping dozens of 1-ton American guided bombs on residential blocks. I start to believe that Israeli military objective is primarily killing civilians. I think Joe Biden today actually refused to back further Israeli escalation. If I'm right, there was a quote from Biden today, and did he refuse? Here's Dr. Jill Stein. Bombshell has revealed that the Biden-Harris administration they encouraged Israel to invade Lebanon, despite the Democrats' claim that Kamala Harris is working tirelessly for a ceasefire. So on the one hand, they're trying to portray that Kamala Harris is in favour of a ceasefire, but they encouraged the invasion of Lebanon. So is it you can have a ceasefire against Gaza, but then go to Lebanon? Maybe they've run out of bullets. Maybe they can't afford to fight on both fronts. And I would definitely think Hezbollah is a stronger fighting force than Hamas in Gaza.
Of course they are.
Is a bigger threat.
Of course.
So they have to turn their attention to Lebanon. What Lebanon have done is get the attention of look. They will have lost lives to save lives in Gaza. There'll be people still alive in Gaza that would have been killed, but people in Lebanon died instead.
Well, they're killing both sides anyway. Like it's both firing here and there, isn't it? Like, unfortunately, as we hear, there are people getting killed in Lebanon, and there are hundreds getting killed in Gaza. So it's not. You think the attack is less on Gaza now because they're attacking south of Lebanon?
Yeah, of course. It'll be attention from one to another. They'll do both, but you can't do both as strongly as you can do one on its own.
Well, I'm hoping the fact that they actually thought they can head south of Lebanon. I'm hoping they learn a lesson because, they've been warned not to say or film anything that's happening there. They don't want to show, like the reality, the fear, the anxiety between them. They have been warned not to share it with public or film it. Have you heard that?
No, what's that?
Someone's saying Salam Juliet and Sarah, by the way. I think it's called Play Thug, if you know what's that.
How you doing, Play Thug? Assalamu alaikum. Kamala Harris.
FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met.
So there's been
the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs.
So there's been a disaster in America, the cleanup and recovery. Live from Augusta. This is a Hurricane Helene, that's caused damage, and they're giving people that need it $750. And the same time, they're giving 8.7 billion in military aid for Israel, 8 billion for Ukraine, and 567 million for the military in Taiwan. But don't forget, they're also giving
the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750.
$750.
Need immediate needs being
So
met.
there you go. It's not
So
every cloud.
I've read a survey people have shared, and it was so effective and so wonderfully written, of how they split the money that they have, all these billions that's been spent on arming Israel. How can they recover from homelessness, education sector, and housing? Like, there are so many things they can work on, and rather than doing this, they are sending all these billions. Like, what does that mean? Like, how much money is coming back from this war to America to benefit them so much that they're willing to give all these billions and billions non-stop to Israel?
Julian Assange said the point is not to win the war, it's to keep the war going, because these people are all invested in weapons. Just like the big pharma want to keep you ill, to keep selling you medicine. We talk about that another time. Julian Assange is free. I never thought I'd hear myself say that. And he's back in public speaking, and he's talking about Gaza. Here we go, on the topic of AI, artificial intelligence.
As I emerge from prison, I see that artificial intelligence is being used to create mass assassinations, where before there was a difference between assassination and warfare. Now the two are conjoined, where many, perhaps the majority of targets in Gaza are bombed as a result of artificial intelligence targeting. The connection between artificial intelligence and surveillance is important. Artificial intelligence needs information to come up with targets or ideas or propaganda. When we're talking about the use of artificial intelligence to conduct mass assassinations, surveillance data from telephones, internet, is key to training those algorithms.
Can you see why we wanted to get this guy out of prison so badly?
I see that.
Do you think after him coming out, he will come to the news, like he will come back again and talk about oppressed people?
I know, you wouldn't blame him if he didn't, but there he is.
I wouldn't have blamed
There
him
he
if
is.
he hadn't. Like, he's been locked, he's been, like, we were worried that he won't even make it alive
Yeah.
from prison. We're talking about Julian Assange, those who have just joined. And he's out there already talking about Palestine. So just to conclude, is he saying that AI
Artificial intelligence is being used to
to kill?
exterminate people in Gaza. And you saw what Gilad Atzmon said. It's they're killing civilians, whereas Iran somehow have managed to avoid doing so.
I mean, clearly they want to kill civilians then.
Unconfirmed reports that the IDF struck a Russian base in Syria. Moscow has ordered its citizens to leave Israel. IDF strikes Hezbollah intelligence HQ in Beirut. Right, so they're saying possibly a Russian base in Syria has been hit.
Does that mean Russia might get involved in this?
It could mean that, yeah.
So if Russia gets involved, are we expecting a World War III?
I hope not. But that's what it could mean.
Is there any possibilities that the UK is a target at some point?
Yeah, London.
London. You've heard Sheikh Amran speaking in one of his speeches, and he had advised people
Get out.
to get out of London and go somewhere like to the villages, right?
Sheffield. Yeah.
Was Sheffield ever a target? Because I think it was at some point.
But maybe because Sheffield had a lot of factories, they might have been building weapons or something. Probably, like, I know Coventry was bombed, London was bombed.
Bristol? They have...
maybe, yeah.
Think carefully. You know, people think we're not going to be touched. The fact that we are here, I'm not saying we will, I don't know, God forbid, we don't know what's going to happen. But the fact that we are allowing this to happen in Palestine and south of Lebanon, and we think we are so far away living in the UK, we're not going to be touched, nothing is going to happen to us. I don't know, like, we don't. What do you say, like, if you want to give an advice now, today, for anybody that is watching, what's our duty as citizens living here to make this stop, to say, look, like, we've had enough, we don't want to be involved in giving weapons and selling weapons into this genocide that we're seeing taking place?
Yeah, it's very difficult, but at least, at the very least, speak out against it. Say that you're against it. That's the least.
Do you think it's been spoken about in schools in
No.
favor of Palestine? Has any
Not in the
schools?
way that Ukraine had a Ukraine flag in every school.
I mean, until now, I still see Ukraine flags in.
Well, look,
nurseries and
there's still
schools and-
billions being sent to Ukraine for a war that can't be won, but money can be spent on it. And
So
people that are
they're still
invested
sending
in
money
believe
to
so.
Ukraine to help them
8 billion. it seems.
to help them recover from the
Help
war.
them to continue the war.
To continue it.
I don't think they'll win. As they said to Trump, can you say, do you want Russia or Ukraine to win? And he said, I want people to stop dying. And they pressured him, can you say, do you want Russia? Like, how simplistic is that? Can you just say, do you want Russia or Ukraine to win? And he refused. Last clip. This is former head of Mossad, Mir Dagan, admitting Israel wants America to fight Iran for them. And this was on 60 Minutes.
So, Leslie, there has been a lot of speculation about whether Israel would go it alone, would attack Iran all on its own. What does Mayor Dagan say about that?
Well, he thinks it's a mistake generally to make it an Israeli-Iranian issue. It should be an international issue. Somehow the Saudis should be encouraged to speak up and pressure the United States. And what he really would like to happen is Israel sits back and the Americans do it for the Israelis. It would then be internationalized. He knows that Israel will be attacked, whoever does it, but they'll be attacked less. And what he's most worried about is the retaliation.
Yeah, can
Wow.
you do it for me?
And would America do it for Israel? Would it go that far and hit directly Iran?
Would America do it? I mean, the people used to say that Israel controls America. This is, well, America controls Israel. This is America controlling Israel.
You mean this is Israel controlling
Yeah.
America?
The other way around.
Yeah.
There's Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks.
Hezbollah killed Netanyahu, would we say, oh yeah, that's normal? That's why when Israel was trying to kill Nasrallah, that's totally normal. When Israel tried to kill every Hamas leader, that's normal. So if they kill Israeli leaders in their entire cabinet, just like Israel's doing right now, that should be normal, right? No, American media will say, dirty, Muslim, savage, terrorist, right? When Israel does it, they're like, moral army, great, wonderful, here's money, here's 26 billion. Americans, shut up and give them more money. 26 billion isn't enough. They sent 8.7 billion to this monster, this fascist, evil terrorist just yesterday. I'm sick of it. How many more people is he going to murder with our money? Those are facts. So
Can people in America just decide and say, we're going to stop paying taxes until this war stops? We don't want to
Come on.
tax. We don't want our money to go to the war.
If you can organise it, maybe you can.
There's been suggestions on a day in October. I'm not sure. It's
Halloween.
been said. No, they won't go out. They won't shop. They won't work. It's gonna be a day where people are just gonna be
A mass strike.
mass strike. Yeah. Like we are today. We are the 3rd of October, and in 4 days, was it the 7th of October when the attack happened? Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
In 4 days is going to be a year since 7th of October happened, and since then Palestine has been hit daily, non-stop. There hasn't been a day since last year where Palestine has managed to survive one night without being targeted and bombed and killed. Very, very sad. I see this as a complete loss for the Israelis, because if they knew who the target are, and if they really behind one group, surely by now they would have managed to find them or get them or whatever they are saying they are. A big loss, and the fact that they are now involved in another war, that means that it's more loss to them, more fear to the people living there, because now they know other countries would want to get involved, and other countries also are warned. Like for example, Dubai said from tomorrow there will be no flights to Jordan, Egypt, Yemen, Iraq, and Syria. So all these areas are all around and all are at risk. So I wonder. I mean, I haven't heard anything about Britain yet, but there might have been a zone, like a warning of which countries to avoid traveling to, and if you have family there, if you have family in Lebanon, if you have family in Yemen, if you have family in Gaza, I pray they are safe, and I pray we hear peace and ceasefire by 7th of October. Let's hope so. Thank you for those who are watching.